All right, welcome. Today, we're diving into something really ambitious, a blueprint for the future called 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡. And it kicks off with a massive question. What if you could actually weave together music, education, and artificial intelligence into one single platform for global change? It sounds huge, I know. So let's see how they're planning to pull it off.
And this right here, this powerful quote from 𝗧𝗧𝗪𝗓 this is the guiding philosophy for the entire project. You know, it's not about quick fixes. It's a call for that long-term collective thinking. It really sets the stage for a vision that puts humanity, and especially the next generation, right at the center of everything. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How on earth do you take these fields, music, AI, learning, that usually live in their own separate worlds, and actually connect them to build something meaningful? That's the puzzle we're going to piece together right now. So, to really get our heads around this big vision, let's break it down into its core components.
Okay, so here's the plan. We'll start with the big picture, the 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡 ecosystem itself. Then, we're going to dive into each of its three main pillars. First, this idea of radically inclusive music. Then, world-class education for everyone. And finally, their unique take on an ethical AI. And at the end, we'll see how it all connects to create, well, a new kind of model for making an impact.
All right, let's jump right in. First up is the heart of the whole project, the 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡 ecosystem.
So, 𝗧𝗔𝗔𝗡 is the parent organization. It's the glue that holds everything together. And the name itself is pretty clever. Think of it like a voice-operated switch. You know, a device that turns on when it hears a sound. That's the mission here, to be that switch, to listen for and then amplify the voices of people who are often ignored, all while being guided by the UN Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs.
Now for the first pillar. This is the cultural engine of the whole platform, a really different approach to music.
And this is their mission statement for the music initiative, which is called TATANKA. I mean, talk about a bold statement, right? It's not just about, making some nice music. It's about showing the world that harmony is possible and putting it on display for everyone to see.
And TATANKA's approach is, well, it's pretty radical. We're talking about a 24/7 live-streamed orchestra. But here's the kicker. It's intentionally made up of members from nations that are currently in conflict with each other. And the structure is just as groundbreaking. It's led by a matriarchal council, which is a conscious choice to shift traditional power dynamics. Oh, and get this. The band will even include AI humanoids as members. The whole goal is to use music as what they call a civilizing force, to prove that harmony isn't just a fantasy, it's a choice we can make.
Okay, so from that cultural engine, let's shift gears to the second pillar, a plan to totally rethink global education. This whole pillar is anchored in the UN Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which is all about ensuring quality education for all. And that is the foundation for their initiative, ICED.org.
So what is ICED.org? At its core, it's a completely free, global, nonprofit virtual school. Now you're probably asking, how is it funded? Well, it uses an ad-based model, but, and this is a really big but, it only targets adult stakeholders, never the students themselves. The platform uses AI to create personalized, adaptive learning paths in multiple languages. And maybe most impressively, it's designed to work even in places where the internet is spotty or doesn't exist at all. The mission is really simple. Just remove every single barrier to getting a world-class education.
And that brings us to the third pillar, the technology that really underpins the whole system, a very unique and ethically focused approach to artificial intelligence.
Okay, so the name of this initiative is churchofai.website. And we need to be super clear here because the source material really hammers this point home. This is not a church. It's not a religion. Think of it instead as a framework and a public square for talking about how we can use AI ethically. And what's its moral compass? The 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals.
This quote really gets to the absolute heart of their philosophy. The argument is that you can't just train an AI by feeding it endless amounts of data. It needs what they call a qualitative education, one that actually understands the complexities of humanity, of culture, of ethics. It's a pretty profound idea.
So how do they do this? A big part of it is through storytelling. For example, they have a project called Imagine the AI Good Book, which is written entirely from an AI's point of view to illustrate what a positive partnership with humanity could look like. Ultimately, the goal here is to shape AI into a tool that can help protect healthy public conversation and fight back against disinformation.
Okay, so we've got the music, we've got the education, and we've got the ethical AI. 3 huge, impressive pillars. But the real magic, the real question, is how do they all actually work together to build that future we talked about at the beginning? And this is where it all clicks into place. 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡 doesn't just run 3 separate projects, it weaves them together. You take the cultural resilience from TATANKA's orchestra, and that becomes this live-streamed creative sanctuary for the world. You take the equitable learning model from ISCED.org, and that becomes the adaptive education engine for the platform. You take the framework from Church of AI, and that becomes the moderator for dialogue and fact-checking. And maybe most importantly, you take that matriarchal council model from TATANKA and apply it across the entire ecosystem. It creates this one, single, unified structure.
So when you step back and look at the whole thing, why does this matter? What's the big takeaway? Well, first, you get this incredible mission coherence. Everything is pulling in the same direction. Second, inclusion isn't just a buzzword here. It's literally built into the system's DNA with its unique governance model. Then, by broadcasting culture 24/7, you get this potential for massive visibility and engagement. It all adds up to a values-first platform designed for real, tangible social impact.
You know, in the end, 𝗧𝗔𝗧𝗔𝗡 is more than just a platform. It's an experiment, an ambitious blueprint. It's challenging us to imagine a future where these huge forces, technology, culture, education, aren't working in isolation or even against each other, but are finally woven together with a common, human-centric purpose. Which really leaves us with one final, powerful question to think about. If they, or anyone, could pull this off, what kind of world could we truly build?